Welcome back to another episode of Outside Interference. I am your host, Ed the Mountie, and I also have my co-host, Nate Dawg, that we'll get to in a minute. But first, we actually have a very... Hang on one second. I'm having a little bit of an echo here. Just doing. Okay, sorry about the wait, guys. I had a little bit of a technical thing there. Welcome back to another episode of Outside Interference. I'm your host, Ed the Mountie, and I also have Nate Dawg here in my corner as my co-host. But first, we want to introduce a very special guest tonight, all the way from New York. She's got a YouTube channel called Queen of the Ring. Her name is Alex, and I want to say something before you have a chance for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's because we heard that none of your friends listen to you when you talk about wrestling. So welcome to the show. Please have a second. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? My name's Alex. And yeah, I'm the girl who Cody Rhodes spit on at Supercard. And I'm the girl that Pete Dunne stole her shoe and hit her with it. So yeah, I'm pretty over. You know, not bragging, but it's just facts. And yeah, I'm excited to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Nate, introduce yourself. If nobody knows who you are, that's a problem. But hey, listen, it is what it is. So go ahead, buddy. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm Nate Dawg, the host of 5 Minute Promo. I don't do anything special besides give my thoughts and opinions on wrestling, which sometimes are really harsh, but in the end, they're true.
Excellent. Excellent. SummerSlam real quick. We want to do a full recap and review on the show. I, for one, thought it was pretty good. We're going to break it down match by match. I don't want to talk too much about the pre-show. I hope you guys don't mind. One, because I didn't get a chance to watch it completely, so I wouldn't want to sit here and pretend like I knew what I was talking about. And also, I feel like the card itself is long enough, so if we were to talk about the pre-show too, we'd probably be here till about 1 o'clock in the morning. So that being said, SummerSlam this past Sunday was decent. I thought it kicked off to a great start with Seth Rollins with Dean Ambrose in his corner. It kicked off with Dean Ambrose's theme. And also he faced Dolph Ziggler for the IC title, and he had Drew McIntyre in his corner. So what did you guys think about this one as the curtain jerker for the main card? I guess we're going to start with Alex, actually. I forgot to say that part. Go ahead, Alex. What do you think?
I thought this match was pretty good. Going into it, I was there live, actually. I was there at SummerSlam. It seemed like everybody else was pretty into this card. This match. But I thought it was weird for it to open up. I thought, you know, since it main evented the last pay-per-view, it'd probably be in the middle of the card. But it was still a good match. Everyone was just, all eyes were on Dean Ambrose that whole match, honestly, because I think everyone was expecting him to turn heel. But yeah, what did you guys think?
Well, honestly, I'm glad you said that, because it seems, and my brother brought this up, and you know, I kind of understood it, but really when he brought it up, it made sense. He hasn't said a word since he came back. And now they formed the Shield again. And this is before all this kind of happened. When he was injured, I said he should come back and he should turn on Seth Rollins. Honestly, why not? I mean, it seems like it's something that they can maybe, you know, sink their teeth into for a little while. You could have a really good feud, and it'd be like the opposite of what happened. A new look. It looks a lot better. It looks like he actually took a shower. He's looking a little bit better. You know, honestly, I thought that him being in the corner of Seth Rollins made it interesting. I'll be honest, I don't really feel like he needed to help him to get the victory, if that makes sense. I think Seth Rollins is good enough by himself to actually get that victory, you know, with no assistance. However, having him on the outside and getting involved and, you know, interfering with Drew McIntyre, no problem. I'm going to say one thing. It might be controversial, but that's why we're here. I feel like the match went on a little bit too long for my liking, only because I really wanted to see it end on the reverse suplex and the reverse Falcon Arrow. I know it's not the finisher, but sometimes I feel like less is more when it comes to a match. And I wouldn't mind seeing a match that actually ended on a different sort of finisher for once, or something that is that high impact. I mean, let's face it. I think and behind it into it, and then okay, a quick 2 count, and then no. I feel like if you had given the 3 count on that, I think it would have been just fine. But instead, it goes on for another 5 minutes. Ambrose gets involved, and then Seth Rollins is your new IC champ for the time being. Nate, do you think I'm crazy for thinking that?
Overall, I would say no. And in terms of the match dragging out the way that it did, I sort of agree with you. It was a little bit long. I felt like what they could have done there was to involve Drew McIntyre and Dean Ambrose a lot more in that match. Like, I would have loved to see them go into a street fight style outside of the ring, and have the cameras go back and forth with the action that's going in and out of the ring. One match is actually legit, and the other one's just an all-out brawl. And we would have got bang for our buck both ways. We would have saw all the high spots, and then we would have got the finish, and it would have made a long match more interesting. But they focused on just what was in the ring, which is okay because it's 2 top-tier talents. So, yeah, outside of it being a little bit long, it was exactly what I expected from these two.
It's interesting that you say that, because I wouldn't be surprised if the way that match went, I mean, I might be giving too much credit to the creative team, but maybe they could use that in a segment where he was like, hey, didn't you notice I didn't really help you out that much that match? They could maybe do something with that. So interesting enough. I thought it had a really good pace. Interesting curtain jerker. I would have went, myself, I don't say if I would have went with, but I was expecting Miz against Daniel Bryan. I think he was on that same sort of caliber of, interest for the SummerSlam, main event, not main event, but main card. But either way, I thought they did a pretty good job, and, we got the result, I guess, that we were all kind of expecting. And now it's all about what's going to happen from now on. So going after that was a match that I really wasn't that into, number one, going into it, and number two, as it was going on. Now, I'm not a negative fan by any means, but I'm really not thrilled about this particular one, and that was for the SmackDown titles. You had Bludgeon Brothers versus New Day. I didn't feel like it had anything memorable behind it. It's exactly what I expected, except for the DQ finish, but whatever. It is what it is. They got the rubber mallets involved again. It's not anything that I would talk about. I even almost forgot that it happened. So not a shot at them, but it's really hard to sort of, follow up an awesome match like the one we just had with Ziggler and Seth Rollins. What do you guys think? I mean, Alex, I don't know if you're a big fan of this whole gimmick behind Bludgeon Brothers, that sort of thing. And, the New Day did kind of run its course a little bit. I'm always behind them. I always feel like they put on good matches, but I just wasn't as invested in this one as I was even for New Day and Usos. I get a little bit more excited for that. I just haven't been thrilled with the whole Bludgeon Brothers thing. What do you think?
I'm going to say, I haven't really watched SmackDown or Raw too much, but going into SummerSlam, I completely forgot that this match existed. And being there live, New Day got a great pop, of course, because it's New Day, and they're always going to be popular, and they're, again, like you said, they're always going to put on great matches. And then the Bludgeon Brothers came out, and the match started. And for me personally, I was just on my phone uploading stuff from the other match, and I was on Twitter, and I saw everybody else around me on their phones too. No one was really paying attention. No one was really into this match. And for that to end in a DQ, I think everyone, for me, actually, I looked up and I was like, oh, wait, it's over? All right, cool. On to the next one. It felt like watching an episode of SmackDown, even though, like I said, I haven't watched SmackDown in a while, but it just didn't feel like an important match. It felt like that match should have opened the show, or it should have been on the pre-show.
Pre-show.
And the Raw tag team
yeah.
should have been on the main roster.
Main
roster, main show.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like everyone was more behind that. And the B team, I was surprised that they were over as hell with that backstage segment with The Miz. But yeah, I mean, again, that match was meh. That's how I'm going to end it.
Perfect. Nate, what do you think? Are you with us or what?
I'm with you. My childhood is destroyed now that we found out that those mallets are actually made of rubber. Throwing those at the end of the match and like trying to hit the New Day with it, and I was just like, wow, dude, like that looked like American Gladiators 1980s.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal, but I'm with Alex. I would have swapped the other two. I mean, B team is on the rise. It's one of those things where they just recently won the straps. Why not put them on there? They're in a good team against the Revival, who hasn't had enough credit. And I was okay with the way the Revival lost. That was the only match that I did watch. They were looking strong in that whole thing, and they ended up lost okay with that. So I would have probably swapped them out too. I think the New Day and Luke Harper, like Alex said, probably maybe even start off the whole damn thing in the pre-show. I would have been okay with that. Good call. What wasn't a good call is the next match though. Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, where Strowman would get disqualified or counted out. He would lose the Money in the Bank contract or the Monster in the Bank contract or whatever the fuck he wants to call it. Here's the deal. Why even put those stipulations in? Why even have this match if you're only going to make it 1 minute and 50 seconds? And I had to Google that because I felt like it was even less than that, because KO got no offense in. It was such a short, I don't understand the thinking there. For a second, I was actually worried as a wrestling fan, and it's not a shot at KO. I think he would have been good at money in a bank holder and all that stuff. But I have to say a little bit more enthusiastic about Braun Strowman having that contract. So I was a little bit worried about that match going in. I'm like, well, why do they even have the stipulation unless maybe he's going to win? Here's how I would have done this one, right? I'm not saying KO should have won this, but I am saying that he should have at least put a bit of a challenge into Braun Strowman, maybe doing something to his legs, that sort of thing, so that way he wouldn't even be touched in the main event later on that evening. That is just my opinion. Maybe some people are going to completely disagree. I will get to that point later on, but I really feel like this was a match that definitely should have been booked way differently. You had 2 other squash matches on the card, and if you space them out, you can maybe get away with it on a big-ass card like this where it's like 18 hours long. You might be okay. But the fact of the matter is, this was like 3rd match on the card. I didn't understand why it was so short, and it just, here we go again with KO. Really nothing happening with him. Who the hell did he piss off to get that happen to him? I don't understand it. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was completely shocked that it was a squash match, but I thought the same thing of what did KO do backstage that he got this heat and he's getting squashed in this match. And it was ridiculous. I thought that match was shorter than the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar match from Survivor Series 2016. Like, it felt so short. And then the outcome in the end where I don't mean to jump ahead, but when he comes out in the main event and he doesn't cash in, it felt stupid. It wasn't worth it. And it just felt like this match just shouldn't have been on the card. It shouldn't have been a thing.
Right. And if he was going to do that, that means, obviously maybe Strowman could have been in some other squash match or whatever. And then let's say he comes out in the main event and maybe he gets stopped by Kevin Owens, something like that. Okay, maybe you can kind of build on that, like along it. But frankly, I think, maybe a lot of people, including especially Nate, and I know he's going to touch on this, he's getting tired of Kevin Owens being shoulder tackled on the outside of the ring by a running Braun Strowman. I don't know why. It looks like fun to me. I'd take one. I'd probably pay for one. But Nate, Nate, what do you think, buddy? Talk to us why you're a big Kevin Owens mark, because we know you are. He's from Montreal like us. So, I know you're going to have something to say about this. Tell us.
I've seen Kevin Owens' first match, so I've followed this guy up and down the indies in Montreal. I followed him through Ring of Honor. When he finally got his way into NXT and we knew he was going to go to the main roster, the locker room that he represented over here on the indie circuit felt like we all had a huge win. Montreal felt like we were back on the map in terms of wrestling. One thing that he's always done, he's been a family first guy, but he's always been a business guy. He doesn't matter as long as, you know what, he's a good worker. He'll work with anyone. And you know what, his time is money. And you know what, if he needs to do what he needs to do to put Braun Strowman over for the betterment of the company, he's going to do it. Yes, it's a squash match. It made him look like really stupid. But in terms of the overall picture of it, I just didn't understand all the TV time, all the investment, like the backstage segments with, you know, Braun took everything away from me. Now I want to take everything back from him. And that's leading into like this whole like story. And you're just like, okay, Kevin's going to get the better part of the monster. And it's like, you know what? He's going to hit him where it hurts. And in fact, it hit Kevin where it hurts all over. In a squash match that made absolutely no sense. It didn't make Braun look any stronger. It didn't make Kevin look any weaker. And I'm left wondering, you know, was that like a send-off for him to get like 2 weeks vacation or something like that? Like, in the end, as a fan, it's not my business. But I don't understand why you have two tremendous talents like that, and that's the best performance you could put on one of your major pay-per-views. It's just bitterly disappointing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the guy has been a workhorse for a while. Look, he doesn't have the look that you want in WWE, maybe, but the guy's in phenomenal athletic shape, cardio shape. You never see him get blown up. He's always bell to bell. He's pretty solid, right? So it was surprising to say the least. I, for one, after the bell hit, I was like, whoa, that was quick. You know, like that was one of the ones where, like I said, I would have probably done that one a little bit different, but you know, what the hell do we know? we're doing a podcast on a Tuesday night. It is what it is, right? But overall, I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's a sort of segment for him to get some time off. Maybe, but he didn't exactly destroy him to that level. He just beat him in a match, and that was it. You know, there was no teasing of a count out. At least I don't think so that I could remember. But then again, you know, how much could I forget when the match was less than 2 minutes? So whatever, no big deal, I guess. But we'll get into that main event a little bit later with Braun Strowman. For the meantime, one of the highlights, in my opinion, of SummerSlam as a whole would have to be this next match, and not necessarily for the match itself, because the match itself was decent. It wasn't breathtaking by any means, and Charlotte's moonsault where she misses everybody and sort of just gives them a hug kind of bothers me. I'm sorry, but I can't do that move. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But Charlotte versus Becky versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Going into it, I'm not going to lie, I felt like Becky needed this victory. I'll say it, because I didn't know if they were ever going to actually turn her heel. This is something that I've been flirting with on podcasts with Nate for a long time now. If they weren't going to give her the Money in the Bank contract twice, if they weren't going to give her the Royal Rumble victory once, well, then what are you going to do with her, right? So I'm like, well, if she doesn't get this championship, what the hell are they going to do with her? And they did it. They did exactly what I wanted. I wasn't sure how she was going to do it at first until this whole angle started, but once seeing it, it was even better than I pictured, in my opinion. I don't want to blow it out of the water too much because we don't really know if she's going to be an awesome heel or not. And I can't believe that there's some people out there that are saying that it's not a heel turn, because it is. I'm sorry, it is. Just because the crowd got behind it does not mean it's not a heel turn, okay? we are in a different generation now, fellas and ladies, where, you know, it started in NWO and carried over that, and you want to see almost all wrestlers, you want to see them have at least one heel stint, unless they're just completely horrible at it, right? And I am totally open to this. Becky Lynch turning heel on Charlotte right after the match was definitely the highlight of SummerSlam for me. I thought it was fantastic. I was kind of getting tired of Carmella as champion, so I understand why they did it, you know, and they put the title on Charlotte. You can understand why. It's a way for Becky to sort of revamp her character, to show the badass in her, and eventually get what's hers. And guess what? There's going to be a big pop for that too, but it still doesn't mean that she's a face. Alex, tell me what you thought about it, please.
Yeah, I thought the match was decent, like you said. I was pretty excited for this match just because I love Becky Lynch. And it was interesting to see how they were going to do this match. And then Charlotte won, and a lot of people were booing it. And the execution of Becky's heel turn was very well done. That was probably the loudest pop of the night, besides that get these hands pop at the main event. But that heel turn was the pop of the night for sure. And I think they could do a good job with Becky being heel. I think they could do it as if she's that respectable heel, the way that The Miz has been, where The Miz is always saying that he's never given a chance. He doesn't even have a t-shirt on the WWE shop. He's not even on the programs. Like, I feel like they could do that with her. And I feel like she could knock it out of the water, knock it out of the park, whatever. But I think she could do a really good job. And it's SmackDown right now, so I'll watch later how she does. But I hope she does it pretty well. I think that her promo was really good. And then the next night, she came out on a house show and attacked Charlotte and got on the mic, and it was really good too. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
No, and you're right. It's one of those things where they teased it a bit, right? Like, you know, it was domination for a good couple of minutes, and then she just storms off, and you don't hear anything, because there's nothing worse that I hate is after a heel turn, and then you have like Renee Young in the back, like, why did you just do that? Oh my God, why what got into you? And then like, okay, I could wait 24 hours or 48 hours. I don't need an instant status right now. All right, let her breathe. Let the heel sort of just take off and go with it, right? So, Nate, I remember we were talking about that right after it happened, because some people didn't understand why she didn't win. Why are they even turning her heel? There's a big uproar about it. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I definitely did. And I was just like, oh, watch. You guys watch, right? And I'm not talking you guys specifically, because I know you know your shit. But everybody else, watch. You give it a couple of months, and everybody's going to be on her dick, man. She doesn't have one. But you know what I mean. Everybody's going to be all about Becky Lynch and how she's the top heel woman in the company. Guaranteed it's coming. She looked like a badass walking out of there. And it'll be an ass in the next time we see her. Hopefully tonight, and then we'll see what's happening. Nate, tell me, man. Tell me.
You know what? I wouldn't have minded a little bit of a backstage of, oh my God, what did you do there? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm telling you why. You know why? Becky's first reaction for Mike in her face would have been for her to just wheel her bags to her car.
Fine. Fair enough.
And that established it right away. Everyone would have been like full heel turn. Now you want to go back to these fans that are like, oh my God, she didn't get the win, blah, blah, blah. Some people actually think that wins and losses count in professional wrestling. I am not of the fan of that at all. I don't think that they have relevance. To me, I look at it as a business. It's like the carnival. You come into town to make the most money possible and then move on to the next town. So I don't care who wins and who loses. As long as you give who wins and who loses, give me a good story and move on to the next town. You give me a good performance, you know what? In a year, I may not even remember who won what match at what pay-per-view, and I really don't care, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to buy the merch. I'm going to buy my tickets to the shows. You know what? I'm a mark for this business. But to be all caught up with the, Carmella's not relevant in the ring because she's not as athletic as, the same six that have had the title for the last 3 years. I'm tired of that shit. It's 2018. There's certain women on that roster that we need to raise up, and there's certain women on that roster that are established and they can handle a loss. To me, Becky didn't need the title. Charlotte doesn't need the title. Carmella could have continued with a run. Both of them would have finished still strong. And I don't know where the story will go with Carmella, but I understand where they're going with that. With Evolution coming in, you want all your top-tier girls, with the titles going into that pay-per-view to try and sell it through the fucking roof. And I'm a big fan of it. I just hope that, Carmella doesn't come out on the losing end of this. I'm hoping the second generation thing pushes her to the next level, but we'll see. That's all I got to say about that.
How do you really feel about it? But it's one of those things, right? Like Becky, this is the most exciting thing that has been done with her character since the SmackDown draft, when they did the brand split, and then they gave her the title. That was it. Like that one night, and maybe like a week after, cool. And then after that, okay. But she's always there. She's a good worker. I have no problem with this. I think she's gonna play it well because she looked like $1 million walking out of that, with that look on her face and that walk and the whole deal and how she just carried herself. I really felt like it's like something that she's been doing for like months, and that was the first night that she did it on that big of a stage on the Big 4 pay-per-view. Like, I tip my hat to that stuff, man. Honestly, I thought she did an excellent job. Yeah. And for me, yeah, it stole the show in its own right. Exactly. Alex gets it, and that's why we have her on the show. So going into the next match would be Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. Going into it, I was pretty excited about it. I really felt like, okay, look, the ending, we'll get to that after, but it was a good match. I was invested. It wasn't on the level of TNA and their history, but let's face it, it's 2018. Like, I got to relax a little bit. But I really did enjoy it for what it was. Not so much also about the in-ring and the in-ring psychology, but that was spot on, of course. But what do you expect when you work with two great guys like that? I've been nothing but, impressed with these two guys for a long time now. And going into it, I really felt like Samoa Joe was going to have a big role in this. I was almost thinking that he could have won the title, but at the end of the day, how he even lost that was fine with me. I thought whatever he was saying on the mic was like amazing, like how he was just kind of screwing with AJ's family and his kids. And what do you expect? AJ, you get a face DQ, and then everybody's like trying to come up to me saying like, "Oh, see, the is that a heel turn?" And I'm like, "No, it's way different. It's way different. What do you expect a guy to do when you talk about his wife and kids and stuff? Doesn't matter if it's heel or face, he's going to kick the shit out of you, right? And you notice that the heels always do that with the face to get a rise out of them, right? So that whole angle, I was really impressed with. Samoa Joe being the GOAT on the mic. He's been so solid with that as of late. I really enjoyed the match for what it was. I wasn't even that mad of it ending in a DQ as I normally would be for a WWE championship match. It was placed perfectly on the card right in the middle. So you're just like, okay, we just had this big, huge thing happen. And then, with Becky Lynch, in my opinion, let's tone it down just a little bit, but let's give the fans like a good show. We're not going to give them everything here. And when we're going to kind of leave them scratching their heads a little bit at the end of it. But let's face it, AJ Styles, this doesn't change anything for him, if you ask me. Still champion, still looks good. Samoa Joe still looks good. We'll see what happens with his in-ring going forward. He's definitely championship material very shortly. So, Alex, what did you think about that one? How did the crowd react to the whole thing?
Everyone's pretty excited for that match. I thought the match was pretty good. Again, I didn't really watch SmackDown, but from the highlights that I saw on Twitter, it didn't really seem like this match had a good build, like a story. But again, this is from like an outsider's point of view. But I was excited because it's Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, and just for the name of it, for the TNA sake, I was excited to see them wrestle. And the end of that match, it was good. Again, I don't understand why people would think that AJ Styles is turning heel. Like, no, he's protecting his family. And I think ending that match in a DQ is good because it's gonna push this feud forward, and hopefully this story could build up a little bit more intense, especially after he just got on the mic and was saying I'm your daddy now and stuff. And personally, I marked out because I was in the section like right behind Wendy, and when AJ Styles like walked by, that was the closest I ever got to him. So I was like marking out, especially for that at the end of the match.
That's awesome.
That was the highlight for me for that.
That's awesome. Hey, look, yeah, my heart would have been racing for that too, and I'm not a woman. So I have a question to ask. I have a question to ask you. Did you start the "Who's Your Daddy" chant?
I did. Yeah, I did in my section.
Get out of here. I was joking, but you really did?
Yeah, I did.
Yes. I'm talking to a star here. I love it. Nate, brother, tell us, what did you think of Samoa Joe and AJ?
If WWE plays their cards right, for all the ranting and raving that we've been hearing for the last like 3-4 years of CM Punk and this and that, blah, 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 if WWE plays their card right here, they have their new pipe bomb guy.
Oh.
And they're really like sitting on it, and I don't know why, because some of the stuff that CM Punk did years back, Joe could do on the same level, if not next level. And you know what? I can listen to Samoa Joe with a live mic for 2 hours and not be bored, because he's going to take shots at everyone, and I'm going to laugh my ass off about everything. In regards to AJ Styles, he has proven he is one of the elite in the business, and he has proved it for a couple of years now, easily at the highest stage possible. The one thing that I'm worried about is there's so much talent in the dressing rooms on both sides. He needs a little bit of a break. He's running hard. Like, he's doing like 280, 290 days, traveling around the world, going halfway there, halfway back. And I understand, like, you're the champion, but I hope the story leads to a transitional, like, you know, passing the championship on to somebody else, to just give him a break and come back refreshed and not so. He looked tired. He looked like he was beaten up. And I think, like, you know, even if it's like one pay-per-view to one pay-per-view, like a month off, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, I think it would do good for the AJ Styles person, like physical-wise, and the character.
And the character. I agree with you. I mean, here's a guy, like you said, he's been, I don't want to say carrying it, but he has been sort of carrying SmackDown ever since the brand split in one way, shape, or form. That being said, I do feel like Samoa Joe could be the guy that they should transition the title into, because of his recent work and how, you know, he's getting a bit of a following, if you will, for a heel. You know, AJ, like you said, he's just been a solid worker. So there's no better person in my mind. Like, I really do feel like Samoa Joe is going to get the last laugh on this whole feud, and he will be your new champion going forward. I think you're right. I think AJ needs a little bit of a break here. And it's the perfect guy to transition it to. Let's face it, AJ Styles has more kids than Heath Slater at this point. So, you know, poor guy, you know, give him a break. We'll see what happens there. But next match was definitely one of the best on the card. I'm going to have to go with it was hard to say which one was the best match of the whole card, in my opinion. There's a couple of them that kind of, you know, raised the bar, if you will. But this one definitely, in my opinion, had the best storytelling behind it, and also the best, like, in-ring psychology, and the chemistry was there. The Miz and Daniel Bryan, I was really looking forward to this one, and they did not disappoint me at all. Like I said, their chemistry is still solid. It really felt like they were telling that story in the ring, where they just have this long history. And yes, okay, it wasn't at WrestleMania, fine. But for it to be on a top 4 pay-per-view, I'll take it, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Debray going forward with his contract. So if this was like, hey, this is what you're going to get or you're not going to get it, I'll take it at SummerSlam. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fish too. I even called that because when the Miz came out, you noticed that Maurice had the baby basket there, and what the hell, carriage, right? And you had the blanket over it. I didn't think much of it at first, but after about 10 minutes into the match, I'm like, wait a second, we didn't see the kid. What does she have in there? But I don't even know if she actually grabbed it from the carriage itself. Might have just it was sorry, you know, of course she's gonna check that one out on me because I wasn't looking there. And anyways, I thought the finish was amazing. It's perfect because it you know, it keeps Daniel Bryan looking great. It makes the Miz look awesome and very intelligent and a sneaky bastard that he is. And the guy is a star. Who else can actually have a little section? I know it's a big crowd, but still, this is Daniel Bryan, arguably one of the most over superstars in recent time. And Miz still had some guys going for him, even though he's been a douchebag. How do you explain that? This guy has been awesome for so long that what more does it take to push this guy right up to that next level? And maybe this victory is going to do that going forward. Alex, tell me, did you enjoy the match? Did you enjoy the whole, you know, what happens from here on out? Is this like a one and done? Is this going to keep going? What do you think?
No, this is going to keep going. I think that was a perfect way to end that match with The Miz winning the way that he did. And I think everyone wanted Daniel Bryan to win just because this build has been for so long. It was like 8 years. And I think everyone just like was instantly expecting Daniel Bryan to win. And I wanted The Miz to win from the beginning. And it was good. It was a good way to continue this feud. And I feel like if they do it right, the way they have to do it is just to let them loose. This feud started in the beginning with talking smack, and talking smack was unscripted. And The Miz really laid into it to Daniel Bryan. And now with his contract almost up, he can definitely play along with that. He can definitely tease Ring of Honor, even New Japan. He can definitely bring up that Madison Square Garden card. And that's how you continue this feud. And especially if you want it to be going to Mania, then you have to just let them do whatever they want. Don't give them a script. Just go ham.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you even feel like this needs a title? I thought it did at first, but actually seeing it, I don't even know if it's necessary.
No, not at all. No, I think it's more of like a
personal vendetta,
the honor of dignity or something. You know, you don't need a title for this match, not at all.
Nate, what do you think?
You call me crazy, but it's funny how you mentioned I don't think this thing needs a title. But long term, what I'm seeing for this storyline is that it's going to go tit for tat, back and forth. It's going to end up in an admiration of mutual respect. And I could see these two holding tag titles together. Just to make it an interesting dynamic. It won't last long, but it'd be like that. It'd be like that late 90s, early 2000s, like Stone Cold and Dude Love, or Stone Cold and Undertaker, you know, where you just do it for like 2 weeks. So it's like you sell the shirt and then you like move on to the next chapter kind of thing. You've been
watching too much WWE or old school Teddy Long or something where you're just like, it's gonna be a tag team, player, and it's gonna be Miz and Daniel Bryan against The Undertaker and Kane.
Dysfunctional face and heel stuck together comedy shtick that's missing from the comedy shtick that we have already. I just want to see it for 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. All right, I'll give it to you. But you got to wait like a year and a half at least. Nah, maybe not a year and a half.
For the immediate future. I'm just saying.
Yes.
I would like to see it down the road.
Okay. Well, Miz is over enough to be a good face. It could work. Happen after two things. Now, I hear.
Excuse me. Miz is a face. Okay, it's just the whole world seeing it wrong. Okay, and when they can get their shit together and actually see it properly, they can actually watch an episode of wrestling and go, "Holy shit, Miz is right. We were wrong. he is absolutely perfect.
That's perfect. That's perfect. But here's the way I see it, and only because I really feel like this could be something that we would enjoy as wrestling fans. Now, I understand the two sides of the opinion. Alex is 100% right. This does not need a title. However, if you somehow incorporated The Miz reaching up and getting to that point where he can get the title and hold it for a long period of time going into WrestleMania, and then you have Daniel Bryan win the Rumble, and then he challenges The Miz, I see no problem with that being one of the main events of WrestleMania. That's just what I think. And that's only because I think Miz at this point, the last time he had the main event, I wasn't really 100% behind him at that point. He's just like in a different stratosphere now. But I really would think that that would be an awesome main event where I could really enjoy it even more than I just saw at SummerSlam. But again, either way works for me.
The only thing preventing me from that is knowing that I could see it happening, but I think Alex has had too many great pay-per-views in her own backyard, and that sets up another one for her.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Oh, man. I was going to say, it'd be good if the way you get AJ to go away for a while, you let him drop the belt on Samoa Joe, and maybe Survivor Series, you can have The Miz versus Samoa Joe, and The Miz like pulls a fast one like he did at SummerSlam, and then he has the title from then on till Mania. Maybe Daniel Bryan can win the Royal Rumble, and then that's gonna be a fantastic match for Mania. So luckily I'm going. Are you guys?
Well, yeah, we're trying. We're trying. We will say this in our own defense. We had a Monday Night Raw. When was it? June? Nate, when was Raw? When did we go?
End of May, beginning of June.
Yes. And we crushed that shit. The fan base was nuts that night. It felt like, honestly, I'm not tooting our own horn here because we're only 2 people in attendance, so what a big deal. But it really did feel like a Raw after WrestleMania crowd. It was nuts. We wouldn't let Roman talk. There was other stuff that I don't remember right now, probably because I had about 12 beers. It was a lot of fun. But I really feel like, at least if you're not going to give us a big 4, okay, cool. But give us fucking Battleground or something, will you? God. I'm not asking for a lot here, all right? Just asking for a little 3-hour thing. Let me get my front row tickets with the sign that I listen to Queen of the Ring. That's all I want. That's all. That's all I want. Going into the next match, right? Another squash match. Number 2 of the night. Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. It was about 1.5 minutes long. Call me crazy, but I'm probably in the small 1% percentile. I'm not going to sing the EC3 song. Don't worry. I really feel like it was actually necessary for him to kick the crap out of Corbin in this one to regain his character, put some life into it. It's been a while since we've seen the Demon. I know it wasn't really necessary going into it, and I did think of that before SummerSlam. I was like, nah, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He's just going to come out all smiley Finn. And then as his entrance was about to hit, I was like, no, he should do it right now. And I have to say that the crowd was pretty behind it. At least I thought so. From a WWE Network TV standpoint, looked like he got a pretty big pop. And that's not easy to do after seeing a Samoa Joe and AJ match and a Miz and Debray match. Normally that's your calm down, I don't give a shit about this match sort of, situation where like people don't even care about the entrances. That's what I'm talking about. And I really felt like him coming out as the Demon and destroying Balor was this squash match was okay with me. Alex, do you agree?
I'm going to agree because
you're allowed to disagree if you want. You're being polite.
No. But I'm going to say I went to the bathroom during that match.
You didn't have enough time.
Huh?
You didn't even have enough time to get up the stairs. It was already over.
Yeah, it was done. It was done. I was in the bathroom and then I just stayed out and just walked around. I wasn't really interested in the Baron Corbin match with Finn Balor. And then when I heard that he brought out the demon, I was like, oh, okay. And maybe that was my reaction because I was at the first SummerSlam where he won the Universal title and I saw the demon. But yeah, I thought that was a waste to bring out the demon, and I understand he's getting a little stale, and to bring out the demon, people get excited again. But then on Monday Night Raw, you give him a rematch, and then it ended the way that it did. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. It's tough.
Nate, what did you think about it, buddy?
So Alex just brought up an interesting point there. There's two things I want to talk about in terms of these gentlemen involved. One, both of you should be referring to him as Constable Corbin. Okay. Number two, he agreed to take on Finn Balor, not the demon. That's not fair. He was not prepared or adequately prepared.
First of all, he's never prepared anyway because he dressed in a fucking sweater vest. Okay?
Now, going back to Monday Night Raw yesterday, when Roman Reigns is talking shit in the ring, saying, you know, I'm going to give Finn his title shot, blah, 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 blah. You know, it would have been a nice little swerve if Finn Balor came out as the demon last night, because then Roman Reigns wouldn't have been prepared for that. That would have been money. Mic drop.
Yeah, but you can't have...
Do it at SummerSlam. Save it one night.
What do you think?
If you put the demon on Raw last night, it makes the show a hell of a lot better.
Sure.
But we also got a Triple H promo, so it was a win-win situation.
Could have been. Could have been. I'm not going to say that you're wrong on that one for sure.
It's still Constable Corbin. I just don't understand why you guys can't refer to the title. I mean, he earned that title. It was appropriately given to him by Mrs. Stephanie McMahon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of respect for the authority. Thank you.
What pull does he have? He can't even make a fucking match. What is Constable even mean?
My friend, guess who's in charge?
I've seen principals scarier than him. Swear to God. Doesn't make sense.
That one from The Simpsons.
Fair enough.
All right, you little freaks.
But here's the deal, right? The next match, this one I have to say I wasn't as interested in. I was not engaged in it, and I don't think the crowd was either. I felt like there was some very slow claps for, you know, both Jeff Hardy coming out as a popular face as he is. I from my standpoint where I was sitting, didn't feel like many people cared about it. Maybe this was that match again where like people didn't really care for it, but it wasn't a squash match. It was a full match. Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke. I don't have a lot to say about it. I really wasn't that involved in it. The storyline was random with Randy Orton in the mix. Although I love the work he's doing, and I think you guys all know that. But what the hell was that at the end of the match? What was that? He just comes out and you just like, you know, he wants to come out and like shake his hand, you know, after touching his crotch or something. Did you guys hear about that, by the way?
Yeah.
So like that would have been funny if he would have pretended to do that and then walked away. Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's PG, right? That doesn't work anymore. So what the hell was that? I want to talk about that more than the actual match. Alex, tell me.
You want to talk about his dick situation more than the match?
Oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one.
I don't.
She hasn't seen the towel on the wall.
I actually only wanted to talk. Did you see this, Alex? Hang on. There he is. Look at him. Look at him. He's a beautiful man. Yeah, I know, right? And to think I used to use that after the shower. This isn't getting recorded, is it? Okay, yeah. I'm fucked. I'm fucked now. But I want to talk about Orton coming out and doing absolutely nothing. What does that do?
Well, again, I missed that match. I was walking around, but I heard his entrance music come out, and I remember saying, "Oh, okay," and didn't really care. And actually, a lot of people, like, I think that they took their bathroom break there because I know everyone was expecting Ronda to come out. I think that was next, right? Yeah. So everyone took their bathroom break during that match, and everyone went to get some more beer. So I think that says a lot about how I feel and how everyone else feels about it. I don't know why. They're two really great wrestlers, and they're very loved, you know? But it's just like, but why? And also, like, do we need Randy Orton in that feud? Are we just like doing that to make it interesting? Like, now it's kind of weird because maybe after that, the accusations, he should probably go away for a very long time.
Imagine he would do that, and then he touches the earlobe of Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird too. So he likes touching a lot of bodily things, but yeah, I don't know. This match didn't make any sense. And again, this match should probably open up the card or even have been on the pre-show. So yeah.
So his whole mic just went dead like that.
Yeah, I guess so.
I just gotta wait for his cue to be all like, "Okay, Nathan, tell me what you think."
Yeah. Nathan, tell us what you think.
And the problem is, if I do say what I think, he's gonna come back and be like, "Sorry, I missed it."
I missed it all. We're hijacking this right now.
No kidding.
Oh no.
Okay, now he's back.
There we go.
And he's not in his chair.
And he ghosted. He turned to John Cena.
Shock the system. I don't know. It was just hard for me to get up for this pay-per-view. With All In around the corner, like, I really didn't care for SummerSlam. That's my personal opinion.
Dude, same. The only reason why I went to SummerSlam is because it was a free ticket. Like, if it wasn't for that, like, I never would have gone. I probably maybe watched it at home, but
you were saying how, like, you know, I want to go see NXT, but I'm not really interested in SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So surprise, I'm at SummerSlam. I was just like, okay, free ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back, and my video is going to be back up in a moment. So here's the deal, right? Next one on the card, yet again, another squash match. But here's the interesting part about it. Maybe it was necessary again. You can have 2 squash matches on a card. I'm okay with it. Depends on how it's. This one, did Ronda need to destroy Alexa Bliss? Totally made her look like a nobody out there. What was with the weird eyeshadow? I have to say that was interesting enough. You know, kind of channeling her inner Great Muta kind of persona is a little bit strange, but all things considered, Ronda sort of gets the job done in a very, very strong fashion. She has a very interesting moveset. It's weird. I feel like her pace needs to be improved because there's moments where I feel like she rushes a move, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always like, ugh, I don't know. She has a different moveset than I've ever seen. And then there's other times where she has somebody up and she's just kind of chilling with them there for like 10 seconds. And it's like, okay, the moment's over.
The one that this is when she has them up and you can see her all like, "Are you ready?" I hate that when she does that.
Yes.
That bothers me.
Yes. What?
And the problem is that, you know what? Because of her name, she has Shayna Baszler's spot. That's basically the way that I feel.
Absolutely, Alex. I mean, I know people are behind Ronda Rousey and the whole deal, and I get it. We kind of saw it coming that she was going to win this thing, but is it necessary? Is it the right time? Would you have done it differently? Like, tell me about it.
It's necessary and it's the right time because you have to sell that Evolution pay-per-view to the mainstream. But I mean, Alexa wasn't going to win that match, and Ronda winning as a squash, I think it made sense. In terms of the eyeshadow, I kind of digged it. I thought she looked like she belonged in a Mad Max. Also, I think she stole Becky Lynch's makeup kit, but that's another story. But yeah, I thought it was a good match. I agree. Like her moveset, like it's interesting because she is strong and she is athletic, but I think she needs to slow down a bit. There was that one point where Alexa choked her. It was like choking her, and she picked her up and she slammed her, and Alexa rolled out of the ring. And for a split second, I thought Ronda was gonna do a suicide dive, and I was kind of marking out. I was like, holy shit, holy shit. But she didn't. And if she did, she probably would have badly hurt herself. But I thought it was necessary to be a squash match. The only thing that was weird was to have the Bellas come out and celebrate with them. After hearing the fact that they're doing supposedly Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey at Evolution, it would have been fantastic if the Bellas got into the ring and they attacked Ronda.
Yes,
and then that's the feud, and you can build that up because again, like yes, those names are big. It's Ronda Rousey, it's Nikki Bella. The mainstream audience knows those names, and if you say, "Oh, they're gonna have a match together," they're gonna sell.
I like how you said that.
Yeah, but if you have that like feud where it's just like, oh, she turned on her, and then the Bellas are like, you know, we've been working super hard, and yeah, you've like paved the way, but you don't belong here, you don't deserve this. That's the feud that Ronda needs in the WWE, is for the women to go against her and be like, yeah, you paved the way, but now you're just kind of stealing our spotlight. I like, other than Nikki Bella, if you're setting this up, who's next to be in that feud with Ronda? Bailey? No, not at all. So yeah, that's what I think.
According to some people, Sasha Banks always needs to be in the limelight, which I disagree with. So
yeah, same.
There's really not a lot of other choices other, in my opinion, maybe Charlotte. But now you have champion versus champion, and it kind of defeats the whole purpose there. I'm with you. I really feel like I don't want to say drop the ball, but they added too many balls in the ring. Having Natty come out. What was that?
I said, and it's all women. That many balls in the ring, and it's all women.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the deal, right? Having Natalya come out there, I'm okay with that because especially after the big traumatic, week that she's had.
Yeah, she got a standing ovation too, which was really good. Yeah.
No problem. I have no problem with that. If you're gonna go with that feel-good moment, cool. But I stop it there. Stop it there. Because the Bellas coming in did nothing for me. Like you said, unless they were gonna, get involved and attack them or something like that. Cool. Then we have like a little two-on-two thing going down. Could have been interesting to say the least, but I thought it was a little too many cooks in the kitchen and for no reason on that particular one. Whatever. Nate, how do you feel about Ronda? I mean, we had a very good, actually Nathan had this idea. We were talking about it on Saturday around TakeOver. And with Shayna Baszler losing, it could have been an interesting angle if you weren't going to give the title to Ronda. When is this Revolution pay-per-view again, guys? Is it October or is it just
October 28th?
Right. So, okay, this is like the biggest pay-per-view until that point. So I understand what they there. But I was, we were kind of flirting with the idea of, Nathan, you want to give it to him? Like the one with the Baszler idea, which was a good one. I thought it was a pretty decent one.
Well, I'll let you share it. I was okay with you sharing it.
Cool. So since Shayna Baszler lost, maybe she gets the call up and somehow interferes to help Alexa win to some degree. We were
the same thing.
Yeah. I think it would have been a really cool moment, and then you could have had like a feud with that, but maybe just the timing is just not there yet, that sort of thing. And maybe she wants to have a rematch with with Kairi Sane there. So I don't know. But overall, I mean, it's pretty much what we thought it was going to happen in the big scheme of things. Ronda's the champion. Let's see how she does. Hopefully she makes her appearances, and you know, I can see her taking this very serious though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you can see the utter joy in her face. She actually gives a shit.
Yeah, compared to Brock Lesnar.
Have to respect that, you know. Coming into this whole thing, I wasn't a big fan of it. I was really the most thing that I was worried about was her winning the Royal Rumble. I thought that would have been a real shitty way, you know, just to slap in the face to all the talented women on the roster. I really didn't want to see that, so I'm glad that didn't happen. And they still, you know, she got her shit in at the end, kind of deal, where like, okay, she made her face appearance, pointed at the sign like an evil monkey about 170 times, and then we moved on, and I'm okay with it, right? But you know, this particular one at WrestleMania, at SummerSlam, hey, enjoy your moment. You know, you putting into work, you're getting better as they go. Congratulations, I guess. That's all I got to say about that match. So it was a decent one. Anything else you guys want to add on that?
No.
Good. Well, I'm glad we could talk about this. So going to the main event, I hate to say it, I was really looking forward to it. I know why. But I felt like something big was going to happen. They really made an interesting beginning to the match, if you will. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, and Alex, correct me if I'm wrong because you were actually in attendance, but I didn't feel like Roman had the biggest boos I've ever heard. I've heard a lot worse in arenas, and I really didn't feel like it was that bad.
Well, I was at the Raw after Mania in Orlando when he got booed out the building.
That was bad.
So nothing compares to that. But I do agree. There wasn't as many boos. And in my section, there were a lot of Roman fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people were I feel like people going into SummerSlam in the very beginning weren't very excited for this match. But once we saw that squash match with KO and Braun won, everyone was convinced that Braun was going to cash in or Braun was going to get involved somehow.
Right.
So I feel like people were really anticipating this match because once they gave that video package, like the pop was like a little like, whoa, I didn't expect that to be. I thought everyone was going to boo that match out the building.
Right.
But then Braun came out and he gave this speech. And to me, the way I interpret that speech was, I'm not a bitch. I'm here to cash in.
And what does he do?
And he didn't cash in. He's
there
just like,
you go.
But I'm going to stand and watch this match, which was so stupid. Because when he came out, he had such a huge pop. And everyone was looking forward for him to. It was predictable. But everyone still bought into it.
Yeah.
And it just upset me because he looked weak. It made Braun look weak. And like just a few months ago, he was lifting up like ambulance trucks. And you're telling me like he can't even take a F5? Really?
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Like it's disappointing.
And that's agreed. And that's why or maybe the KO match could have did that a little bit differently. You really take him out of the equation because what he did was he came out and like you said, he's like, I'm here to tell you that I'm not a pussy, but actually I'm telling you that I'm going to be a pussy over here, let you guys fight, and now I'm going to jump in after. Okay. Like, to me, like you said, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, okay, wait a second. He just said he's going to tell the person to the face, like, I don't do that. I want to face him one-on-one, man-to-man, but I'll let you guys do your thing first, kick the shit out of each other, and then I'll eat the scraps like a fucking honey badger.
Yeah.
You know? What is that? So screw it. I was like, if you're going to do that, don't fucking do it at all.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. He made him look like the people were behind it, man. A big fucking Nate's losing his shit. Sorry, he's just
between the honey badger and the angry monkey, I'm losing it all.
It's like a fucking animal kingdom tonight on Mountie's Corner. done so far. And Alex is like, really? It's not even that great. Okay. So
no, I thought it was fine.
like, to me, that whole Strowman thing was as awkward as when Big Show came out in a Battleground with Randy Orton. Go back to Battleground again. And I still want that pay-per-view. Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. Remember that one, guys? Where fucking Big Show comes out and people are like, ooh, what's going to happen? Then he punches. What the hell did he punch first? Randy Orton? Or was it Daniel Bryan? Anyways, he punched both of them. And then he's all like, "Grr!" And then people are like, yeah, what's going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen. The fucking logo in the bottom left-hand corner. That's what's going to happen. And the pay-per-view was done. And this thing was just as awkward as that. I'm sorry. I thought it was really strange. At that point, just insert yourself in the match. But I guess they didn't want to do it that way. Okay, so now you have a tease on Sunday night and a tease on Monday night. At what point is the tease going to get old? That's my question, guys. So whatever. What do you guys think about that whole... Alex, you said you shared your 2 cents. It was excellent, and I agree with you. Nate, are you on the same page, or are you on a different book?
Probably a different book. Like, well, you know what? I just wanted the title off Lesnar if he wasn't going to do a full-time schedule.
Thank you.
It's obvious that he wasn't going to do the full-time schedule, but ever since that championship has been like brought into WWE, it's barely been on TV outside of Kevin Owens' run. Like the champions just basically sit at home. There's no integrity in that title anymore. And I'd rather have Roman walk around with it saying that he's going to defend it all the time. Or see, like right now, I don't care whether it's Roman. I don't care whether it's Strowman. I don't care. I don't even care if it's Hawkins for all I care. I just want to see the title on TV represented every week. I think it's good for the brand to have that there on TV every week instead of talking about it being on the mantle in Winnipeg or Minnesota or wherever the hell that guy's from. But it's, you know what? I like the end result of it. The teasing is getting a little bit annoying.
Already.
It would be if Braun Strowman would come out and do like a little bit of a moonwalk and then cash in, that would be cool because it worked for Carmella. So I think it could work for Strowman as well. No, I don't. But either do it or don't. Like for me, personal opinion, like let's backtrack. I don't even think Strowman needs the briefcase, and I think it's a wasted opportunity for him to have the briefcase.
The Miz should have won that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's no question there.
Like I said on a previous show before, the Money in the Bank briefcase should be an open contract to either brand on any night.
Yeah. That would have been interesting.
The show, if somebody jumps brands with the title, with the briefcase, they can dramatically change one brand to the other overnight by just cashing in. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. And that briefcase looks like Braun's just like carrying a purse. So like a little lunchbox or something. He's just way too big for it.
I will say that I enjoyed Brock Lesnar throwing it. That was the bomb.
Dude, from where I was sitting, it looked like it was going to be another car door situation and it was going to hit a fan. Like, it did not look like it was going straight on.
No.
And it broke the LED lights. That was amazing.
It was. It was brutal. It's like you should have just called that little briefcase Johnny Gargano. Just throw it right in there. Boom.
Wouldn't it have been awesome if Nicholas just came out and caught the briefcase?
Okay, that's not bad. But I really doubt he's gonna catch that fucking thing. You know, that he would have went flying through the LED thing more than that fucking briefcase went, and I probably would have been okay with. But I'm with you, Nate. It was one of those things where I was like, okay, seriously, dude, if you don't win, what the hell? That would have been his fourth try or something? Third, at least third. I want to say fourth. Debatable, but yes, you were 100% right. But still, man, like, what would you do after that? And who would actually be you know, a threat. Bobby Lashley, please stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I don't want a guy as champion that has a higher fucking pitched voice than Steve Urkel. I'm not down. I'm sorry. I'm not down. But I respect the guy. Mojo? Sure. That sounds great. Let's just give the fucking Fandango while we're at it. So giving it to Roman was, and how they did it, interesting enough. I thought that the match was going to be done. Like Alex, you brought up the Survivor Series match, right?
Yeah.
Goldberg and Lesnar. For about 3 seconds, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be done in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, when he kept throwing those Superman punches and spears, I thought that was going to be it, just like that match. And then I thought it was going to be done with Brock, and then immediately Braun was going to cash in, and that was going to be the real main event, and that's what was going to be the match that was going to extend longer.
Yes.
But that didn't happen.
No. It seemed kind of thrown together, but it was really random, the whole Strowman angle at the end of it, and I wasn't even sure as a fan. Like you said, I was like, okay, he took the 1 F5, but that's it, that's all, he's done. Okay, but he did take some chair shots and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Like, you know, you took a bit of a beating, but you know, I also remember you being covered in ladders and chairs and just all over it. So they have a short-term memory when it comes to what these guys can actually take sometimes, but that's a whole other stuff, right? Overall, what would you guys grade SummerSlam if it was up to you on 10? 10 being the best, 1 being terrible. Alex, what do you got?
I would grade it I'd grade it a 7. Yeah, I think the only thing that's not bringing it down to a 6, honestly, is the Becky heel turn. Because that was just definitely the moment of the night for me. Yeah.
7. Not bad. Not bad. Nate, what do you got?
6.
Yeah, you're in a 6? You didn't enjoy it. You didn't really enjoy it.
But while you were disconnected, it's like I told Alex, it's tough to get up for this pay-per-view with All In around the corner. If you're like a real die-hard like wrestling fan and like other stuff, you're looking past this to like other stuff that's going on. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been fully engaged with Raw or SmackDown. Like, yes, I have them on my TV, but it's when you're watching the G1 and the results of that happening every night, and you see like the storyline like going on with stuff that's going inside the Bullet Club and stuff like that, you're just intrigued with a different dynamic, and you get sidetracked with that. And there's so much great shit going on outside of WWE. It's really drawing my attention away from WWE. Like, yeah, I'll still stay engaged a little bit, but with this show coming up around the corner, I'm more excited to find out what happens with that. You know, like, call me like an indie darling fan or whatever you want, but I like the fact that, you know, I'm going to get to see the NWA like title in play again on a bigger stage. Like this is like really cool stuff. Like, you're seeing all these guys from like Impact, like crossing over like Lucha Underground, and they're networking the wrestling industry. Stuff that we would have never seen 10 years ago is taking place right under our nose. Like, look, like Alex goes to shows like Progress last week, and she's bumping heads with like the Bruiserweight. And it's like, as amazing as that is on TV, like watching it on NXT.
Well, not only that, you know,
stuff is 10 times more better. It's way more exciting. If she can vouch for it, she's the victim.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly say I am going to All In, and I'm more excited to tune in on Being the Elite and watching a 12-minute video compared to 3 hours of Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown. I think, you know, I think we're in the middle of another revolution in wrestling, the way that it was in the 90s, and especially with All In coming up. I mean, this is the first event that is in WWE in what, 20 years that it's sold out.
Any of what you just said, but I'm sure it was awesome, Nate.
But yeah, just agree.
Are you guys still there,
WWE
or am I having trouble here?
Yeah, you're here.
Oh, here, got. Yeah.
You're good,
Okay,
you're good.
so.
Oh,
fuck.
Well, we're good.
No fucking clue.
We're good.
Did you guys hear anything of what I just said?
Not now.
Some of it.
No.
Okay, because Nate went on a whole thing with the bruiserweight. I mentioned something about Alex's, using her shoe to to Pete Dunne. I don't even know if you guys heard me say that, but fantastic work, by the way.
We knew what you were talking about because of.
Right.
I mean, if you follow her social media, we're all on the same page, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe we're not. He got upset with that. No.
He's like, oh, they're talking indie. I gotta leave.
Yeah, right. Goodbye.
He doesn't get upset. He just gets disappointed. Like, I try to talk to him about
Go
indie
again.
stuff. It's like, welcome back.
There we go.
Hey, there we go. I'm going to have to wrap this up soon because I seem to be having a lot of trouble tonight, more so than I ever had before. So sorry about that, guys, and the audience. We actually have some. I was going to give SummerSlam a 7.5. I did enjoy some of the moments more than others. So me being a big mark, yeah, 100%, 100%. But it is what it is. Thanks to you guys to joining in the chat. Alex, you had a few of your subscribers that joined in. I'm trying to think of who it was right now. Somebody was like, I just came in to say Alex is the shit or something like that.
Oh, snap. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, it was, who the hell was it? Brandon Oliva? Hopefully I didn't butcher it. You're like, who's that? No idea.
I know who that is.
Yeah, one of your 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So good work with your channel. Before we sign off, I just want to say a couple of things. Thanks for the subscribers that actually tuned in. Sorry we didn't have a great chance to answer any of the questions, but it looks like you guys were interacting with yourselves, so that's perfect. Rick, Broken Empire, Daryl, Jeff, good to see you guys and everything else. Danny the Phantom, Dank Memes. That must be a new one. I don't know. That's awesome though. Narcolepsy Boy, my boy, is just logged in here, so I want to personally thank also you guys for hanging out with me too. This was a lot of fun. Before we split, Alex, tell my subscribers about your channel, because maybe they don't know about you, because maybe you don't do awesome skits like a couple of people that I know.
Well, my channel is Queen of the Ring. I'd love for everyone to subscribe. Basically, it's just me living the life of an average wrestling fan that's into all types of wrestling, which is Progress, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Evolve, GCW, and you see me mark out and go to shows, and things happen to me in these shows which I cannot control, but the universe just grants it to me, and I'm very grateful for it. So let's see what happens for All In, because I am sitting on the floor for that. Yeah, so definitely check me out.
You guys also got to check out her drunk Q&A videos. Those are like all time, with the sailor hat on and everything. But I will say one thing. Can you do me a favor? Can you answer my question next time? Especially after this. Come on, it's the least you could do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm going to make it as inappropriate as possible. And best believe it'll probably be terrible. We'll see what happens.
For my Q&A?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, I will.
I was waiting.
In late. I think you sent it in and I already filmed.
Yeah,
no,
sure.
You will. I'll give you the invite first and then let everybody know. You'll be VIP. Yeah. How about that? Okay?
Perfect. Because, I'm a little tired of being rejected. It's a normal Tuesday night for me here. It's just not fun. Not fun.
Must be watching SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, first and foremost, Nate, tell them a little bit about yourself. Well, they already know who you are, but give them your credentials, man. Let them go check you out. Where can they find you?
They can find me here.
Yeah, that's about it. That's
about it. Okay, the channel on YouTube is 5 Minute Promo. I don't keep it up to date because I like doing collabs and doing this stuff. I'm not technically sound, but you know what? get in the ring and we'll find out how technically sound I am. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, Nate Dawg 316 on Twitter. Yeah, I chime in a lot. I like to go after trolls that think that, you know, wrestling has one set of rules and it should be only their set of rules. And I like to put them in their place, you know, even though they're 18 and I'm like 3 times their age and I have nothing better to do with my time. You know what? I don't mind telling them off.
I love how you just called yourself out on that, though. That's fantastic, man. That's amazing. Oh, shit.
Kids got to learn.
They got to learn the hard way, man. I love it. Alex, thanks a lot for being here with us. Me and Nate really appreciate it. Outside interference. This is probably one of the better episodes that we've had in a long time. This is our second one. Hooray for us. And fucking even with the audio lags and stuff, that's Google Hangouts. That's not my production, but hey, it is what it is. But it was a pleasure having you on. Feel free to join us another time. Maybe for a prediction one next time. That would be pretty cool. Have you, if we could just spare you for about an hour and just pick your brain on what you would do, what you think's gonna happen, that would be awesome. So thanks again for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, guys. It's an honor to bless you with my presence on your very second episode.
Well, second episode of Outside Interference. We've been doing podcasts for a long time.
Oh, no.
Okay?
I mean of this show
okay.
in particular.
Good save. So we're looking good here. So to the subscribers and everybody else watching, which is probably about 4 people at this point, but hey, we'll take it. I appreciate all of you guys coming in. Very grateful for everything that you guys do. Hit a like, hit the share button, hit the subscribe if you're new. And I'm the Mountie, and I always get my views. Rip 'em.